It's Levack and Goz on 104.5 The Team.
The Bills play the Jags this weekend, and this is a Jacksonville team that I thought was going to be really, really improved this year. So we go to Ryan O'Halloran from the Florida Times-Union. Ryan, what happened to this Jags team?
Well, guys, thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming on. We really appreciate it.
They're just terrible. On offense, they got up to a slow start. Blake Bortles has regressed a little bit. Their running game was non-existent for the first month of the season. And on defense, they couldn't create a turnover. They're last in league that category. They're last in league in turnover ratio. And you throw all those things together, and then they can't win a close game. So they don't know how to win, and they've shown that the last month or so.
So, Ryan, I mean, were you like me when you saw the influx of talent and just the growth of Bortles last year? We assumed this would be a better team?
I thought they'd be a little better. I certainly didn't think they'd be 2-8, but I also didn't think they'd be 8-2 at this point. I had them going 7-9 because they had some issues on the offensive line they had to get figured out, and they really haven't. And then I didn't think the run game would be that much improved. The surprising part is on defense, they got the group together pretty quickly, and they're in the top 10 in yards allowed. But I thought they would be. 500 would be in their sights. And the most important thing, I thought they'd be playing meaningful games at this time of the year. With 6 games to go, they're not in it. That's pathetic.
And because of those high expectations, the thought was maybe Gus Bradley would have been let go by the Jaguars maybe mid-season. Is he a lame duck coach, or is there a possibility the Jags may bring him back if he finishes well this season?
It'd be a shocker if he's back. If they win 6 in a row, that's the only thing. But he's won 14 out of his first 58. I don't think he's going to win 6 of his next 6. So no mid-season change. I think ownership just wanted to let it play out a little bit. And from ownership's perspective is don't make an interim coach who could go 3-1 and then have to consider him.
Okay.
Just wait till January 2nd, clear the decks, and go get the guy you want.
And by the way, you say interim coach, and we're from upstate New York, and we've seen Doug Marrone coach for the Bills and the Syracuse Orange. Is that who that interim coach would have been if that would have gone down?
Probably so. I mean, he's the only guy with head coaching experience at the NFL level. So, I'm sure they would have, considered him more than any other guy.
Ryan O'Halloran of the Florida Times-Union on 104.5 The Team. So before we just get into this game, Tom Coughlin's a name that kicks around up here all the time. Would he be on the short list if they do make the move at the end of the season?
I think he would be. A couple of things about Tom is he lives half of the year in New York, half of a month, half of a week, and he has a second home here in Jacksonville where most of his grandkids are. And he has a big charity in both New York and Jacksonville. So it'd be an easy transition for him to return here. But he's he's over 70. And the big thing is, what kind of staff would he put together? A lot of his guys are either retired or currently employed by the Giants. So I think there's a couple hurdles. But if you're Shad Khan, if you haven't talked to Tom Coughlin by now, you're making a mistake, even if it's not to vet him as a head coach, just to get his advice on who should be on the list.
Ryan, you're in that city, and one of the questions I always have about Jacksonville, Florida, I was there last year. I went to Florida, Georgia, and it felt like it's still a college football town with an NFL team, and the Jaguars continue to struggle. Is that fan base going to Everbank Field still, or is they now finally at a point where they're backing off and saying, look, we're more of a college football town, and maybe the future of the Jags in that city is up in the air?
Well, the future of the team in the city is not up in the air, and it's really not a college football town. We don't cover Florida and Florida State anymore because nobody clicked on it. This is a Jaguar. We have 3 guys on the Jaguars every day for that reason. So it wants to be a pro football town. It wants to be a Jaguar town, but they got to start winning. If they bring in a new coach, that'll create some energy that they need, maybe to boost their season ticket base. But it's a town that's very transient. Half the people who identify themselves as NFL fans aren't fans. Jaguars aren't their favorite team because they didn't grow up here. So it's time to start winning to get that younger generation to become only Jaguar fans.
Okay, Ryan. So we got a lot of Bills fans. We've had the Bills guys represent today. So as our insider for the Jags, how do they pull this upset? What do they need to do?
Well, the first thing I have, Bills overlook them. I don't think that's going to happen. the only way the Jaguars at this point will win a game is if they get like 4 turnovers and score a defensive touchdown and then, sprint out to a big lead and then try and use their pass rush and their coverage to hold off the other team. I think the Buffalo's going to win this one going away. There's really nothing for the Jaguars to play for at 2-8. They're going to have a couple of stinkers down the stretch. I think this is going to be one of them. If the Jaguars do win, it's because they bottled up Buffalo's run game on first down, made Tyrod Taylor throw it on third down, and get some punts that way, maybe some turnovers.
We do a segment every week where we pick like games, and I just thought the number was too big. So you're telling me go back and change my pick?
Yeah, was it 7?
7.5.
Yeah, I think I'll probably go somewhere in the 31-20 range, because right now this Jaguar team, they're giving up possessions on special teams, and that's how you get to 30 points.
Ryan O'Halloran of the Florida Times Union, making Bills fans feel happy. Not so much down there. We're a little nervous for it now.
And one of the questions I had is that maybe the advantage may be with the running game with T.J. Yeldon possibly out for this game. I thought Chris Ivory might be a good play. Could we see him having a bigger role in this offense this week?
Well, he'll have to by default. They stayed committed to the half and half thing for most of the season, which I thought was a mistake. They had to give Ivory extra touches last week when TJ went down with the ankle. He didn't practice today. So I think you look at Ivory, I think they probably want to get him 25 total rushes and receptions. He had 2 22-yard catches last week, which was a surprise since he had been asked to do that a lot. But I think they should have settled on Ivory a little while ago. But now that they have to, I think they'll benefit from it.
Does it look like Blake Bortles is the quarterback of the future?
Well, the general manager, Dave Caldwell, who is a Buffalo native, if he survives the purge and comes back next year, Blake Bortles will be on the roster, and he may get some competition to bring along Bortles a little bit, but all bets are off if this is a total house cleaning.
At Ryan O'Halloran on Twitter, you tweeted out about 2 hours ago that the 2016 conference call MVP is Rex Ryan. Listening to Coach Ryan, you get a little jealous you don't get to cover him on a daily basis.
It's probably one of those things where he probably is better with the visiting media than he is with the local media. But he talked about the horrible call last year in the London game. He talked about green bean casserole is his favorite tomorrow during Thanksgiving dinner. So we covered a lot of different topics in our 10 minutes together.
Ryan O'Halloran of the Florida Times Union, we appreciate you getting us ready for a football Sunday this early on a Wednesday. Thank you so much, my friend.
All right, take care, fellas.